All right. Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. Uh-oh. Just knocked over some cards. That's okay. Well, maybe that'll be part of this collective message. Oh, we start out with the Seven of Swords. Start out with somebody who could be lying. This person's got a little smirk on their face. It almost feels like he's feeling like he got the best deal, feeling like he tricked his way into something. Three of Cups. Okay, so if he tricked his way in or out of something, in this case, it looks like it has much to do with a relationship. It has much to do with either somebody that he tricked to get something that he wants from them, or this is somebody who's going to be trying to get with someone and he's like, I just had a conversation with her and she really likes me, and got a Princess of Swords. Oh, don't be so cocky. Slow your roll there. She's actually, no matter what vibe she gave to him, I would argue she's thinking and mulling over his words. I do not think that this is a lie is going to be able to just be perpetrated, because when people tell lies and things that don't add up, we tend to think back, or there's context clues, or granted, not all the time. Sometimes people are really, really, really good at selling a lie. But it turns out not so much. I don't know what this is about yet, but we have a Queen of Wands in the reverse. Is this all something that happened in the past? Is she remembering? I get why I turned into a karmic version of myself. Three of Sacred Circles. Hang on, let me take a look. This almost is, I don't know if it's in the present timeline. This is either past or, oops, I'm sorry, that does belong in that deck. This is either past or this is upcoming, but it's not present. We have a Five of Swords in the reverse. We have the Ten of Pentacles sideways. The elephants are here, like, about memory. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that something is clicking in somebody's brain about a situation that already took place. It's as if we're talking about the future and it's reflecting us back to the past. There's a memory, and now somebody's not mad anymore because she's figured out the missing piece of the puzzle. She's figured out the lie. Can I see what the lie was? What was the lie? Nine of Swords. The lie might have been something that she told herself. Queen of Swords upright. King of Pentacles. Well, actually, that's not true. This is a Queen of Pentacles with a king on it. So forgive me. These are both nurturer of coins, but they chose to put a masculine on the queen card and then a queen on the queen card. Okay, so the lie has to do with, so this is all one person's memory. I remember now, I think back and I see it so different. I see it so clear. The lie was, I never needed to be freaking out or upset. In fact, I wasn't really. I was trying to communicate with somebody who I thought was straightforward, only to discover that they weren't. I was made to feel like I was a karmic version of myself because I kept asking questions, and I was made to feel like my intuition was off. I was made to feel like I wasn't allowed to ask questions. I was supposed to blindly trust. This is all like a feminine is looking back at the past and saying, oh my God, they totally like hoodwinked me. I didn't do anything wrong. I was trying to communicate in an open way, but every time I tried, words that came out of their mouth didn't seem to make sense. But I would not assume that they were lying. I was assuming I didn't understand, so I would ask more questions, but then I was told that I was like karmic, when all I was trying to do was get to know somebody. And I feel like if she's having a flashback of the past and she's saying, I wasn't rude, I wasn't hostile, I was asking a direct question for a direct answer in a non-hostile manner, but just rather to connect with somebody and to get to know, who they are, maybe asking questions about their family, normal human conversational stuff as you're getting to know someone that you think you're going to, possibly have a romantic connection with. I'm thinking there was a third party here that they were covering up. And the line of questioning that she was asking would have revealed that. And they may have been getting hostile, and then they may have gaslit her. And this is like somebody realizing they were gaslit. That's what this story is. No wonder it was so confusing. I'm sorry. I know that took me like 2.5 minutes in the beginning just to figure out what on earth are we doing here. But that kind of reflects how confusing it was for her. There's a reason that I couldn't put my finger on the story, because that's what it probably felt like to her. Like, I don't understand. What am I doing wrong? Something is off, but I'm being told it's me, and I'm being called jealous or selfish or demanding. I was just trying to communicate, but I didn't feel like I was getting truthful communication. Okay, we have Ace of Wands upright. This was a passionate lover's connection, and I think whoever she dealt with just wanted, like, can we just have passion and let's just be peaceful and just have passion. I don't see this as a love bond on their side. I see them as, I want this passionate, physical, intimate connection. Can we go back one more time and just say, because the lies, we know she was gaslit, but we also see she was gaslit about this. What is that part of it? Was it that they were not really offering love or commitment, and that was the part that they were lying about? Or was it that they were still in another connection with somebody else, and that's a part that was being hidden? We have the Six of Pentacles, which to me, that would say they were only after passion and intimacy from her, because they were already in a committed, like, financial and living situation elsewhere. They were trying to get a third party going with her. She assumed she was dealing with someone who was single and, equitable to her and wanting to give in a connection, but it kept freaking her out, or something was nagging at her. I think it was her intuition. Let me double check. Let's actually change decks and let's go and ask her. How did you feel about this? What was your intuition telling you back then? Ace of Swords, Hanged Man. I need the truth, but the truth is being delayed. I need the truth. In fact, the more I talk to them, the more I feel like they're delaying telling me a truth. And so the more focused I was on trying to get an answer about the truth, because something wasn't being there. They were delaying something. They were delaying having a conversation or answering questions that really needed to be answered. Okay, so I'm going to say it was definitely, she couldn't have, it wasn't even her intuition. It was obvious gaps in the conversation that needed to take place. So they were definitely lying and hiding things. And then that in turn, let me ask, how did they make you feel? We can see that you got gaslit, is what I would say. The devil. She's like, they made me feel like the devil. They made me feel like there was something wrong with me. They made me feel like I was too angry. They made me feel like I'd done something wrong. They made me feel like I was toxic. Okay, so gaslighting at its maximum capacity, right? I'm sorry, this is such a bummer storyline, but I'm so glad she's seeing the truth of a situation. I mean, the truth. This is a fictional story about fictional characters, but she's seeing the truth of how somebody made her feel in the past, and she's realizing that was a massive freaking head trip that they put me through. Let me ask this. Why do you think that you are going through this right now? Why are you reflecting on it and discovering this now? Why is that important for you to discover now? Five of Swords. This card would not normally have anything to do with an ex trying to come back, but here we can see they are. We've got a skeleton coming up out of the grave, coming in to start something. Five of Swords is the energy of, I'm blocking this. It can also, though, be the energy of arguing or fighting. It could be that there is, I'm going to just go ahead and commit to, since we see the skeleton coming back, I'm going to say it's important for her to reflect on what happened in the past and reflect on the truth of how she was treated in the past, how she was made to feel in the past, and what she discovered in the past. Because if they are about to come back in, she needs to maybe put up a boundary and a barrier, and not I don't like this person if this is the way they were behaving. And I don't really think that I would personally ever give them another chance. That's just me. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying the gaslighting stuff, the lying, but then making her feel negative. Now, here's the thing. I do want to pause and say, how somebody makes us feel is not, we can't really say that it's their fault, because, we have to take responsibility for our own emotions, right? But if they were really telling lies, That's 100% them. Even if we were to say, okay, maybe she didn't have to feel or be made to feel some kind of way, but it's really hard not to if somebody's gaslighting you. But I'm still trying to say, let's give her as much power in the situation as we can. If she says they made me feel toxic, they said that I was this, but I wasn't. It's part of it. Let's say it's a 50-50, like they can say anything they want, but she knows the truth about herself. But in that case, if they're saying things that aren't true to her, then absolutely, I'd say run for the hills and stay away from this person. I would never let them back in. But let's go back to the lie, because I'm still trying to drill down and establish, all right, feminine, from your perspective, what was the lie? Can we just simplify it? How do you see that? They lied that they were an emperor. They lied that they were a good guy. They lied that they were a partner. They lied that they were in control of their own life. They lied about being a really nice, amazing, powerful person. Let's let them respond to that. Okay, character, what do you have to say? Let's first address the lie. What do you say about the fact that she says that you lied? Eight of Wands, he's like, let me explain. I'm coming back in to explain. I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to explain. He doesn't say I didn't lie. He's not arguing that. He's saying I need to talk. I need to explain. There's so much more to this. How would you respond to the idea that she feels like you've gaslit her? Hanged man sideways. I was trying not to, but I was not in a place where I could convey everything. There was so much more that I was trying to tell her some things and then still not sure about what else I could, explain. Hanged man was sideways. I was in between trying to explain stuff. And so then it came out really confusing. Okay. Why did she walk away feeling like you referred to her as the Queen of Wands in the reverse and made her into a toxic person? Emperor upright. This is them like literally howling and yelling. Like, I have to explain. I have to explain. Character, you do understand she may not want to hear from you. Are you on your way back into her? Is that really what we see? I mean, we saw that skeleton climbing up out of the grave there. We have a Page of Wands. When I say, are you really trying to come back into her to have these explanations? With the Page of Wands, they're like, well, I'd like to, but I think she's already gone. That's a dry riverbed. So basically, you're saying that if I could just explain, but you're not actually even putting in the effort to explain, is what this is looking like. She turned her back. I would like to, but I don't think she wants to hear from me. King of Wands upright. Well, if you loved her, it would have been really nice not to make her feel all this negativity. Because it's like, no, I love her. Like, I absolutely love her. But that's not really how love works. You don't really let somebody have to feel that bad about everything. Do you want to tell us why that happened? I mean, I don't know that you'll ever get a chance to talk to her because you don't seem to be working very hard at trying to explain anything to her. We see that you claim that you have a desire to, but then it's almost like, yeah, but there's not much I can do when she doesn't want to hear it. But you had your chance. And instead of communicating the truth of things that needed to be communicated, it looks like you did that hanged man sideways. Why'd you do the hanged man sideways and make everything so confusing? Nine of Swords, I was so stressed out. Okay, so they were having some kind of a meltdown. So then they weren't being communicative. King of Swords, I was really freaked out about speaking a full truth about everything. Okay, but so they were freaked out about speaking a full truth. At this point, what's changed that now you feel like you could really explain everything? Eight of Pentacles, Page of Swords. At this point, they've somehow gotten control of whatever was going on in their life. So now they're more empowered. Now we see that they feel like they could have a new start. It's like, if only I could have met her at this point in my life instead, then she would see me so different. Then she would understand the full spectrum of everything. But I met her at a time when I wasn't clear. Were you with somebody else? That's what she fully believes. That's what we saw with the Three of Cups and the Six of Pentacles. Were you with somebody else? Their answer is the Star card, which is not an answer at all. This is like, she's so amazing. That's not what I asked. So I said, were you with someone else? Now we could say at a distance, there was someone else they were trying to help heal. But the star card is a wish come true, but it's almost like it was so distant that I would be able to be with her, but you were already trying to be with her, right? What did you want from her at that time, character? What is it that you wanted from her? Hermit. I don't know. I probably shouldn't have been with her, but you were trying from what we saw with that Ace of Wands. Knight of Swords. Yeah, I leapt into something that I shouldn't have. Okay, so my impression is this. They met her at a time when their life was extremely complicated. She was somebody who probably lived in an area they didn't even live in. They decided in some moment of impulse that although they knew darn well they shouldn't have been trying to have a relationship with anybody, they went ahead and jumped into a sudden impulsive, like they wanted her, they wanted to be with her, so they indulged themselves in romance with her, even though that was not possible. And then instead of telling her it's not possible for me to actually give you anything more than this, I purely just did something very impulsive. I'm actually in like meltdown right now. And now I'm too scared to tell you that I wish I had met you at a different time in my life, but instead I met you now, and then without letting you know I can't offer you anything other than, a night of passion. That's what this whole thing looks like. And then I think that, did you keep it going? Did you keep stringing her along, breadcrumbing her, not answering her? Ace of Wands, yeah, they wanted to keep the passion going. They wanted to keep romance, and they were like, but maybe I could just do romance and it doesn't have to be anything. We don't have to talk. We can just have, sensuality. I really, really, really desired her. Okay, so you were basically getting everything that you wanted physically out of her, but you were not telling her the truth of anything about your life. And then let me just ask you, character, how did you feel when she would try to have normal conversation with you? How did you treat her when she was trying to get to know you and talk to you about like life stuff? Seven of Cups. Well, I would think about how to avoid answering. So, and I say that because Seven of Cups is there's so many different ways to answer stuff, but I wanted to keep it really confusing and keep everything far away, far off. I feel like they were the master of diverting conversation to other topics, which is probably where she got to be like, I don't get what's going on. Now I have to drive more and more for an actual answer. How did you treat her when she was like trying to pin down an actual answer? High Priestess. That's when they knew that she knew the gig was up. Deep down, it's like she's reading my thoughts. She knows that I'm dodging. She knows all that. So then what? King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles, what does that mean? That's normally somebody who would actually really give. We have Two of Wands. We have the Sun. But there's a choice. Then it was like she knows that I'm hiding something. She knows that I'm either going to have to like tell the truth or she's going to find out the truth. It's going to become clear. There's a choice that I have to make. To either like tell her the truth or I guess I'm gonna have to go. That Two of Wands is I'm at a crossroads. Five of Pentacles. And I think that they chose to avoid her rather than telling her any truth, unfortunately. Let's take this to a part 2. There will be a free link there in the description box. Sorry, but this one's getting long. I won't make it so long in the next chapter of this, but we've got to figure out how this storyline wraps up. Thanks for being here.